Hey everybody, it's Anthony from ComicsEatingUp.net. I'm back with Terry Hockness from HocknessComics.com. We're doing the new comic spec review video for July 5th, 2017. But anyway, let's get on with some of the comic news. First bit of news is, if you hadn't heard, that Terry's pick from last week, Batman and Elmer Fudd, and #1, the one-shot, that was definitely the Wednesday winner of the week. It jumped up to about $15. The sets were selling for $30 a set. It was a good quick flip. No telling what it's going to do long term, but while you can, if you can find them, grab them and flip them. In reprint news, Shirtless Bear Fighter #1's going back for a second print fairly quickly. Also, Redneck #3 was sold out on the day of release this past Wednesday and is going back for a second print as well. Both good signs for both series. So let's go ahead and send it over to Terry to start this week's Picks of the Week.
Well, happy Canada's Day to everybody up in Canada. That's where I am. I got my little maple leaf here on my cheek for Canada's Day. And some really cool picks this week. I'm kind of really going retro. My big 3 picks of the week are all have something to do with the past. The big book of the week for me, long-term pick, is The True Believer's Amazing Fantasy #15. This is a reprint of the first appearance of Spider-Man ever from 1962, major, most valuable comic of the last 70 years. And we have a new dollar edition. This is going to be eternally popular. It's a cheap, easy book to buy a whole bunch of copies.
Diablo House is out from IDW this week. Normally I don't spec on IDW books, but this is a horror book. It's a horror anthology book, kind of like Tales from the Crypt. It looks like it's definitely a must-pick-up for horror readers.
Also this week, we've got 2 retro all-ages characters who are being brought back with new books. We've got Casper the Friendly Ghost in a new #1, so this has a potential to be a good long-term pick. Not your normal spec type of character, but again, print run will be pretty small on this, so I think it's worth a gamble. Also, we have Gumby #1. This is an odd pick for those of you who might remember Gumby from the 1970s. New comic book series. This is going to be interesting to see if this is popular at all. I don't expect much of a print run on this, but an iconic, fun character could be another long-term pick.
Unholy Grail is out this week from Aftershock. We've seen some fairly slow starts for some Aftershock books, including Baby Teeth, which people were well in advance of. They knew it was coming out, and Donny Cates had been on fire lately. So this one is worth the pickup. It's definitely a good read. Also, Baby Teeth #2 is out this week, and Baby Teeth #2 definitely blows away the story in Baby Teeth #1. So if you read one, definitely get #2.
Zombie Tramp Origins is a reprint of the classic early appearances of the character. This may not be a hit, but again, stores probably aren't going to over-order on this, so there's a lot of buzz for this fan favorite character, so this could be a surprise hit.
Zombie Tramp Origins reprints the very early self-published Zombie Tramp miniseries. These books are very hard to find and very expensive. If you're going to pick them up, definitely shoot for the Dan Mendoza replica variant.
Batman #24, we get the 3rd printing of this iconic new key issue. Depending what happens with this storyline in the future, this could really heat up long term. It's a 3rd printing, so I think most people realize now to catch on the buzz of this. So the 3rd print not guaranteed to heat up, but again, depending what happens, I'd pick some of these up.
While we're talking about Batman, we might as well talk about Batman #26, the B cover. This is the Joshua Middleton Poison Ivy cover. It's a very sultry Poison Ivy. It's a good-looking cover. We had spotlighted it a while ago. Definitely worth the pickup.
Sacred Creatures #1 is a new ongoing series from Image Comics. Image has had a lot of hits lately. This one doesn't look as good as some of the recent hits, but it's kind of the last one that I think looks fairly cool. So this one, again, worth the chance.
I have to disagree with Terry a little bit on Sacred Creatures. Sacred Creatures is a great read. I had a chance to read a preview copy. It is definitely a good read, and it's a pickup for me. It's written in part by Klaus Janson, who worked on Daredevil along with Frank Miller, and Frank Miller provides a variant cover for this book as well.
And of course, there's a new issue of Walking Dead out this week, and that's usually a fairly safe book to buy a few copies of. It's a new story arc beginning, so something could happen. Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe again, #1, a new miniseries. The last one heated up and went crazy, very expensive series. I don't think that's going to happen a second time, but again, long-term Deadpool fans will be seeking out this series. And so again, if you can afford to sit on some copies, this could be a fun read.
Marvel starts the Jim Lee trading card covers this week. We've got a whole list of them, so let's just run through them. First up is All New Wolverine 22 with the Archangel cover. Avengers 9 has a Mystique cover. Champions 10 has a Cyclops cover. Daredevil 23 has a Domino cover. Iron Fist 5 has a Sabretooth cover. Spider-Man 18 has a Shadowcat / Kitty Pryde cover. And X-Men Gold 7 has a Mojo cover. Speaking of good-looking variants, one cover price variant that I'm definitely looking at this week is Spider-Man Master Plan #1. This is a Giuseppe Camuncoli cover. It's just a good-looking cover price cover.
And any other series coming out this week, #1 issues, etc. I rate them all on my website, hognesscomics.com. On this chart here, you can see I rank all the new books for the potential of heating up from a 1 to 10. I rarely give anything over a 5. So you can see how I rank everything else coming out this week.
That's it for us this week. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment as well as what you're specking on. If you're watching on comicsheatingup.net, leave us a comment on what you're picking up this week. Thanks for watching.